Hey, it's Rick, and holy hell do we have a mess to unpack today. DC just dropped their big summer movie, Supergirl, the second major release of James Gunn's rebooted universe. And man, I really wanted this one to work. But after sitting through it, this thing is a goddamn identity crisis dressed up in a $200 million budget. Let me explain exactly what went wrong, because the problems here run deep. Director Gillespie took the wheel on this one. Gunn was in the producer's chair. And on paper, not a terrible combo. But what ended up on screen is nothing short of a stylistic train wreck. We've got gritty Mad Max desert vibes smashed together with Guardians of the Galaxy color palette, wrapped inside a space western that can't decide what the hell it wants to be. And none of it gels. The script, written by Nogueira, feels patched together from 3 different drafts that never got a proper final pass. Scenes start and stop without rhythm. The middle act drags so hard it basically dares you to check your phone. And Gillespie, look, the guy's talented, but he is not built for this scale of blockbuster. It shows in every single overlong sequence. Credit where it's due though, they actually built real sets. Practical effects, physical locations, no endless green screen soup. That's genuinely impressive in 2025. But when your action scenes still land flat, when your set pieces still bore the audience, sets alone ain't gonna save you. So let's talk about the cast, because this is where it gets really complicated. Millie Alcock as Kara. Look, on screen, she's fine. Actually, more than fine in certain moments. She's playing a girl carrying the weight of a dead planet on her shoulders. Grief, isolation, survivor's guilt, teenage defiance underneath all that trauma. She lands some of it. She misses some of it. But overall, as a pure acting exercise, Millie Alcock is not the problem here. The problem is everything outside the camera. You know the Brie Larson comparison that everybody was making around Captain Marvel? That whole situation where a genuinely talented actress just completely fumbled the PR game? Millie Alcock is running the exact same playbook. Her June press run was a disaster. Cold, dismissive, at times almost combative toward the fan base she needs on her side. She came in hot with messaging about Kara being a feminist icon first, superhero second, and looked genuinely annoyed whenever anyone pushed back. Rick, I've said this before and I'll say it again. You can believe whatever you want personally, but when your job is to sell a $200 million tentpole to the widest possible audience, read the room. Now, the villain. Oh my god, the villain. Krem, played by Matthias Schoenhardt, the big bad of the entire film, the cosmic threat Kara has to face. This dude has zero menace, zero presence, zero coherent motivation. He exists. He does villain things, and then the movie ends and you immediately forget he was ever in it. In a genre that gave us Thanos, Killmonger, the Joker, this is genuinely embarrassing. David Corenswet pops up as Superman for a few scenes, and honestly, dude's got it. That classic hero energy, charismatic, grounded, the crowd reacts. Which makes it even more frustrating that he's barely in the movie. And then there's Jason Momoa as Lobo, the space mercenary, the wild card. Here's the thing, you can tell Momoa's having the time of his life, fully committed, swinging for the fences. But somewhere between committed and completely unhinged, it tips over into exhausting. Every scene he's in, he's mugging so hard that it starts feeling like a parody of a performance rather than an actual one. There's a fine line between chaotic fun and straight-up cringe. Momoa sprints past that line about 20 minutes in and never looks back. All right, Rick, let's talk money, because this is where the story stops being just about a mediocre movie and starts being about the future of an entire studio. Warner Bros. Went absolutely all in on this one. We're talking over $100 million spent purely on marketing, not production, marketing. That is a DC record. Billboards, trailers, press tours, brand deals, social campaigns, they threw everything at the wall. And the audience shrugged. Current tracking has Supergirl barely cracking $300 million in global box office, maybe on a good day, with tailwinds. For context, when you factor in production budget, marketing spend, and theater cuts, you need somewhere between 2.5 to 3 times your budget just to break even. 300 million doesn't get there, not even close. And here's where it gets genuinely scary for DC fans. James Gunn already handed Ana Nogueira, the same writer behind this script, the keys to Wonder Woman and Teen Titans, two of the most important projects in his entire 10-year roadmap. The same writer who just delivered a tonally broken, structurally incoherent, middle-act collapsing mess. That's not a creative bet. That's a panic move dressed up as loyalty. Look, we've seen this movie before, literally. Remember the Marvels in 2023? Mixed early reviews, audience interest evaporating by week 2, a marketing budget that couldn't plug the hole in the hole. Supergirl is running the exact same trajectory, beat for beat. And the really uncomfortable truth, Gunn's entire DCU now has to survive on fumes until Superman Man of Tomorrow drops next year. That's a long time to hold your breath. So here's the bottom line, Rick. Supergirl is not a disaster in the traditional sense. It's not unwatchable, it's not offensively bad. It's something almost worse. It's deeply, aggressively mediocre. It's a film that had every resource, every advantage, $100 million runway, and still couldn't clear the bar of genuinely good. And in a market this competitive, in a genre this saturated, mediocre gets punished. Anyway, that's the breakdown. Drop your hot takes in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right. Either way, smash that like button, subscribe to Film Flop, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Rick. Peace.